Yo, what up, guys? It's QB from the Chopper Express here to bring you another vid, and today we're going to go over one of the new OP14 leaders, Mihawk. Uh, kind of just want to start with this leader. Right now, I've been doing a lot of testing between all the different leaders in OP14, so I'm really just trying to make sure I'm getting some, doing some video, doing some taping while I'm playing, just to like get some content for everybody to see, like kind of like how initial basis fundamentals for like how these leaders kind of play. Obviously, I'm not perfect with these decks. They're just coming out, but this is just like my initial takes on them, kind of taking what I've seen some people do over in the East, kind of apply it to what I kind of theory wise feel like the deck should play after a couple of games, and kind of modifying it from here and there. And so kind of this is my current list, but that we'll go over. But first off, I want to say thank you everybody for, as always, just support and just to play a part and just continue to go about these YouTube channel. It means a lot as I continue to just kind of work on my gameplay, work on just understanding and see what I can bring to the community. So to start off, let's just go with the Mihawk effect. So what Mihawk does is, if your opponent has a slash leader, this card gets plus 1k power, and then you can rest a card if you have a five or more. If you have a character with 5 or more, then you can set the 3 Dawn as active, but you can't play any more characters for the rest of the turn. So kind of what Mihawk does is, one, is leader lets you the effect lets you kind of swing big at your opponent pretty consistently, but also it lets you kind of divvy up swings as you continue to build your board in order to get like better swings, and also allows you to leave up Dawn to as protection during the end game if need be, while being able to swing for decent swings. So from here, we'll just kind of go through the list. I play 4 Perona. So my take, I'm a big fan of the hybrid Supernova slash engine. I know you can just play without the Supernovas and just play straight slash, and then just play just straight top end cards. But I kind of like the flexibility that the Supernova engine kind of allows the Mihawk deck to have during the mid games of the turns. And I feel like this Supernova hybrid tends to fare better versus the Boa deck, and sometimes even the Ace deck, being able to like make differentiating plays and not just be dependent on drawing Shanks, Mihawk, and Beppo on curve. Having 6 cost law allows you to like do different plays within the mid game. So I'm playing 4 Perona. I'm playing 4 Kikinojo, just a new 2K. Basically sets itself active at the end of the turn, so it allows you could play this card for free if you don't have any more 1-drops, or if you just need 1-drops to play in order to like have your abilities be free for the rest of the game. This along with the stage really help with that. In my current list, I'm playing 1 Bonnie and 3 Kick Killers. It's the Supernova Searchers. I think Bonnie's really strong against some decks, but against, I've been testing versus Emu, and the card has felt worse and worse because Emu just has like, because they're already starving you, they have the free swings. But against decks that aren't really starving, such as like Boa, Ace, maybe the Mirror, this card can like net a lot of value because it can like net a swing into this card, while also being able to, if they don't deal with it, net a card every single turn after that, because you're allowed to like use your leader ability and then use Bonnie, and so then that can just gain you more cards throughout the rest of the game. 3 Kick Killer, you could easily cut the Bonnie for a 4th Kick Killer if you really wanted to. I kind of enjoy Kick Killer. Like I said, I enjoy the Supernova engine, but also the fact that you kind of leave this card on the board to the end of the game, and then you kind of just get a free Dawn for your event is really, really strong. It allows you to be a lot more aggressive with your Dawn, which can be the difference in getting a card or two. So I think that comes up a lot. For Zoro, it's just slash Supernova, so it makes both the archetypes. For the Freeze Bonnie, I think this card's really strong. You can play it on 5 against like Ace and Boa and kind of mess up their curves. Also versus other deck, also for the same decks, you can kind of like freeze bodies to like buy yourself some more time, and all those things can add up in the game changing in your favor, just kind of delaying the game, allowing you to get more time to play your top end. So I think this card's just really strong going into this next format. For Dashigi, this is a new card, so it's a 5/6 1k. If your opponent would remove this card by opponent's card effect, you may rest one of your cards instead. So this card is really good into the Emu deck, forces them to have Ground Death plus Mars, being able to just like leave a Dawn up, leave any card up, and be able to net that value. And then also you may rest 2 of your cards for this card to gain 2k to their opponent's turn. So being able to be an AK when you're into the Ace deck for free or into other decks is able to apply a lot of pressure in that scenarios. Another new card we get is a 5/6 Perona, 1k counter as well. Up to your opponents on play, up to your opponents with 5 or less can be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this just is another way to like slow down tempo. This is probably the one card that I kind of think is, depending on how popular Boa is, I think it's kind of depending on how broken this card actually is. Without Boa having access to EBO3 Nami, just depends how popular it's actually going to be at the end of the day. Because this is mostly what I feel like this card's in there for. I think, well, I would say that's the deck that where this card shines the most, but we'll see. From there, and the reason I kind of enjoy the Supernova engine, I think having the 6-cost Slaw along with the 7-cost Shanks allows you to have more of a flexible mid game. Also, doesn't feel like you're like rigged and where like you have to see Shanks. You can like see Law to like loop your 5-cost bodies against certain matchups. Which is really good. I think probably the one con I would say is that like a lot of the 5-cost bodies outside of Shigi just feel kind of mid versus Emu, and then that's probably the biggest thing that I would kind of change. And maybe that's where we could look at inclusions of the blocker Bonnie and things of that nature to try and give a more diversifying 5-cost engine to work with. From here we have 7-cost Shanks, new card. So when this card is rested, rest up to one of your opponent's 7,000 base power or less, and then if this character is rested, give all your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power. So this is a card where individual people are saying like once you put multiple up, the game gets like infinitely harder. Can kind of dictate the game, bypasses blockers, and things of that nature. And then from here we have the 9-cost Mihawk, new card, secret. So on your turn when you summon, or when it's rested, it can stop a 9-cost or less from being rested on your opponent's turn. And then on your opponent's attack, you can pitch any card to give 2k to a leader character during that battle. So just kind of helps turn all your non-counter that you may have into counter power and just be another boss monitor to like slow your opponent down from closing the game out. And then our last top end is going to be for Law and Beppo. Really, card's really strong. Being able to make your leader 7k along with having all the events to back it up kind of makes you a lot more tanky than I guess sometimes you would expect. So like having your Shanks along with Law and Beppo along with your leader being 7k is like a big differential sometimes for decks to overcome. So. And this is where I think the Mihawk deck kind of shines. Being able to use these events that your opponent has to like constantly respect and constantly play around can kind of make the games kind of hard. So I'm playing for DMG. I think this card is probably one of the best cards in the game, and I think being able to play for helps you close out games maybe you shouldn't be winning versus Emu or Ace, and able to like take a slightly bigger gambles to like close out the game a little bit faster than your opponent may be expecting if they're not playing around this card constantly. I'm playing one, I know you're strong, so I'll go off from the start. Mostly because it's a Supernova card, so it's searchable off of Kid Killer, Bonnie, and Perona. It's counter power, and then what it does is able to pay 2 Dawn to freeze 2 7-cost. So again, just being able to like buy yourself some more time against decks that may be like more hyper aggressive. Solid one of. And my last 2 events are 2 Spiderweb. I would personally want to go up to 3 on this card. I think one of the things I kind of noticed versus the Emu deck is that if they decide to starve, that game plan usually involves them trying to just tag your Shanks constantly throughout the turn, and so cards like Spiderweb can help get you a punish on that, just because it allows you just to turn your Shanks for free still, and then if they try and like swing too many times, you can just like Spiderweb it back to standing. And if they're starving, or if you just leave it standing, you can like don't really need Spiderweb. So there's just like a lot of different options that we'll kind of go through. And then the last card is for Coffin Boat. I'm playing 4. I kind of went down to 3 for a little bit, but I think drawing this card is like makes the rest of your game kind of free. So I think that's really good. So basically what it says is on play, if you release Draco Mihawk, draw a card, and at the end of your turn, if you release Draco Mihawk, restand and Dawn. So really strong. This is just my current list. Kind of still play with it, kind of still understanding the format a little bit more. But let's get into the games. We're gonna do some Mihawk versus Emu games today. So here I'm playing Mihawk and Emu. I am being told to go first, which I think is really strong. And so I'm going to just get starter. I can choose between Law and Beppo, Kid Killer, and DMG. Gonna just keep searching because I think finding 2 5-cost bodies is going to be really important. Preferably I want to get to Shigi, but we're going to start with Kid Killer. So this matchup actually I think kind of interesting. I think it's interesting people's takes on the matchup. From what I've heard, some of the start I've seen people swing with the Emu deck. I've seen people just add to starve. Here, like I said, I'm gonna get the 5-cost to CG. Go ahead and just book the 5 now. And now here with my Kid Killer, they're really just looking for anything. I'm gonna just get like little weenie bodies. Now that I have a lot of weenie bodies, like I'm gonna be able to have cards from my Tashigi to rest. Here, my only target is Jewelry Bonnie, so I will grab Jewelry Bonnie. And like I said, this may be a different list. I may be playing 2 Jewelry Bonnie in this list. At one point, I was playing 10 searchers, so it may be that. So here, ideally, my opponent either will play Workery or Saturn. He's gonna poke for 5, so he's gonna choose not to starve, which I don't know if it's good or bad. I think that's part of me learning this format. I don't know if it's good or bad. So he's gonna start with Workery. And so one of the things that I think me and one of my friends, as we were testing this matchup, kind of learned is that like being able to set up Workery into Nostro is really good because it helps you kind of contest the Shanks. And here I'm going to go ahead and rest my Perona. Like I said, I think this is the benefit for the Mihawk deck. Being able to apply pressure to your opponent, I think it's really, really important. So I could swing 8. I also could I could just leave a Dawn up, but I don't see a reason not to leave it on. So I should just swing 8 and just say if I can get an event, I get an event. But he's going to go ahead and take, which is super interesting. Like the pros and cons, I think, thinking about from the Emu side, is that like if he decides to play Nostro on a given turn, he can like spend the turn protecting it, and it's just me seeing if he's played the matchup just because I'm interested to see like what's his theories on the matchup bar. So he's gonna go ahead and swing 5 again, and I'm gonna go ahead and take again. Like I know that if I do have Shanks, I'm gonna need to protect my bodies more throughout the game, but he's gonna hit me with the Nullify on my Tashigi so that he can pop up with Mars. So it's good on him. Kind of is able to take me off having some pressure, which I think is really good. And then he's still being able to apply pressure. I think the only thing I may have swung 5 with my Workery that turn. I just think that'll make me getting another card because I would probably be more incentivized to give you a card that turn. I think that'd be really good, but he decides to keep standing. So here, and this is what I'm saying. Like if I was only playing the like if I was only playing no Supernova engine, I would be basically SOL that I just don't have Shanks on this turn. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and just play the Bonnie. I'm going to get my Law's my only target, so I'm going to grab Law again. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just swing 7. And hopefully I can get just try and make sure I keep up the pace, make sure I like try and force him to take a block or give me 2 cards. I think ideally he doesn't want to go down to 1 life already, but he decides to go to 1, which is like a little different strategy than I am kind of anticipating. Just because now my DMG is like, as long as I can make a board, my DMG becomes very live at almost any point in the game. And I think that could be disadvantageous for him throughout the rest of the game. That like now he just has to respect DMG almost at all times, and I think that's for the Emu player that can kind of get the game kind of hard because I'm basically just gonna like keep just throwing bodies out. The Tashigi's already out there with 2 cards that can be rested, so his best bet is just to like try and trade into Tashigi for 6s and try and get my cards. So I think the best play he could have on his side would be Nostro, and Nostro would allow him to trade into Tashigi 4 times. And maybe that's just an issue on my part. Maybe I should have just rested my I could have swung 6, rested both the Dawn and made my Tashigi an 8, and then just kept my and just used it that way. But so here I just push 5 into the Jewelry Bonnie, which makes me feel like he doesn't have Nostro. Because if he had Nostro, I think you would just slam Nostro and just do trades into the Tashigi. But looking at my hand, we're going into our 9 Dawn next turn. We have another Law. He's going to go and swing 5. He's going into his 10 Dawn next turn, so I really just the way I'm thinking about it right now is that like he's going to his 10 Dawn. I'm probably going to Law Beppo. After Law Beppo, I'll probably DMG. But he's going to go ahead and do another Ground Death into Mars play. So I lose my Tashigi again. So he has 1 card in hand. And so now I'm on my 9 Dawn, and I still need to just like, I think I just need to apply pressure, and so I need to like continue to make my board a little bit wider, but I don't want to take too many hits and I don't want to lose my Laws. So I'm thinking, I played this game probably like 3 or 4 days ago, but I'm thinking right now that like I should try and look for one of the bigger top end cards, and now I can find another DMG. and there's just no way I would push a 7/7 for try and go for lethal. So I think I should probably just continue to set up my board. I think one of the cards that could be really good right here is Piranha. I have another Bonnie in my hand, and so I'll be able to set up like if I Piranha here, or if I go Law into Piranha, I can like freeze, try and trade into the Mars, so like get a couple of swings off the board, and then as long as Piranha, since Piranha is like my rested body, even if he tries to pop my Piranha, or he has to like try and trade into my Piranha, then here, say I go rest Piranha, I can either swing 9 face, try and get the Mars block, or push him to 0. So I think I would swing 9 to the lead, force him to Mars block, because I don't really care if he goes like 5/5/6 or 6/6/6s into this thing. I can always rest the Kid Killer, and then the Kid Killer gets 2 values, or I can swing 7, swing 8, and try and just get it that way. So it looks like I'm choosing to go swing 7 face, try and get the event, and then swing, looks like either 7 or 8 at face again, which is kind of interesting. Mostly because I guess I'm also thinking if I should do like 5/5, and it looks like I go for a 5/5 line. Kind of just trying to like get as many cards as I can, because I know no matter what, if he gives me a card here, I ship 5 face, he gives me another card. I'm just trying to like, it looks like I'm just trying to like whittle down as many cards as I can going into DMG. So, which I think is actually like a solid line. If I push 7, he just takes block, and then I'm like kind of like okay, but here he's like incentivized to give me 5, and then like if I just push the 5, this next 5 face actually, then like he has to give me either another card or take life or give block. Ideally, you probably just get block though, just because like getting another card and being this low on cards, and basically, and since I have a solid amount of counter power, I'm going to be able to defend my first 3 swings if they actually go up bodies before Nostro comes out. So it's not like he'll be able to like swing into Piranha out and then me give him Piranha, and then like he able to Mars whatever I bring out. Like we're gonna basically be able to, saying he decides to give another card. I think I would take a block personally, but it's okay either way. And so now I'm kind of set up. So he has like 2 cards. Really, he has 3 cards, going back into 4 cards, going back down to 3 cards if he has Gorosei. And so we can do it one to two ways. We can either try and Long Beppo. We just want to make sure we don't take too much damage. So, and I have only 2Ks, or I have a couple 1Ks and some 2Ks, so like I could give a 5 here. But I guess I decided to take. I guess I'm kind of just saying I'm going to DMG him twice, because DMG twice is still should be lethal. But this is where I kind of think he's pushing a lot face, but I'm kind of curious if you decide you should. I think pushing me to 1 turns my long top blocker. You almost never kill me ever, so maybe you should just deal with the board, try and get a couple of the swings off the board. But now he goes for Gorosei. He has Nostro, and then he has Leader Swing, and then he adds. What does he add? He adds 5 Elders. So it's 3 cards, and basically I have 5 swings currently. And so I already have too many swings to where even with DMG I can do all the swings to beat any amount of counter power, I think. So here I can give 2 2Ks. Or take block plus 2K, and then force him to reassign Dawn. I kind of think I should just give 2 2Ks, but because you could just get the Dawn reassign, the Dawn reassign anyway. Because assigning anything more than 3 Dawn, yeah. But here I just give him 2 and a 1, and he's trying to, I guess, play around DMG, so he's trying to keep like a decent amount of Dawn up. So if he gets DMG'd, he can like still not die. But only having 3 cards in hand and me having 5 swings, I'm gonna be able to do this, rest my Perona, restand 3 Dawn, and now I have 5 swings to 3 cards. So it should be, it's just math. It's just all base swings. All base swings just get there. You don't have to like reassign Dawn at all. And that's just what I'm doing. I'm just doing math just to make sure. So here, swing 5. We're gonna get a 2K, swing 6. And this is just like, I think a lot of, I ain't gonna lie, I've been kind of having a lot of fun playing the Mihawk deck. It's been a little interesting. So swing 6 again. And there shouldn't be any, there's no triggers that this deck can play that should stop him from dying here. But yeah, that's kind of like how you kind of play the Mihawk deck. It's kind of fun. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit. But go to the next game. This one is going to be against one of my friends, Goom. We were just playing this yesterday. Sorry about that. And this is one of the good hands. I think this is one of like what you're kind of looking for ideally. So I'm gonna get to go first. We were trying a whole bunch of different strategies. We tried starving and swinging, so we played like 2 or 3 games, and I think this is one of the things that's really strong. So I hit Coffin into Searcher. So I'm gonna go Coffin. I'm gonna choose to not rest my Bonnie this turn. One, this will like help me get a life next turn. Also, I can always hit the search whenever. Especially since I already have everything pretty set up. I already have Shanks, I have Tashigi, I have the cards I want to see in this matchup. So I'm going to swing 5. I think he's deciding whether or not he wants to guard or not. Based on the first part of testing, in my opinion, I do think it's more advantageous for the Emu deck to probably take the first life. Mostly because I do think this does become, if you decide to starve, it can become more of a board war, and so I whiff off my Kid Killer, which is kind of unfortunate. It can become kind of a board war, and so I do think making sure you have counter power to protect, specifically Noshiro, is like really important in the game. If that's the route you're gonna go, and so he goes ahead and he goes Saturn. He hits Workery. And so I think here we're looking like we're in a good spot. The only rough part is because since we whiffed off Kid Killer, we're already down a card, and he's gonna go ahead and look again, and he's gonna go ahead and grab Shalria, but he's not gonna take a Nostro. So that may tell us he already has Nostro, which is like fine. But here I'm gonna go ahead and play Tashigi. Going to go ahead and rest my Bonnie, going to generate another card, going and grabbing the event spell more than likely because it's better than the 5-cost Bonnie, and then just swing 7 and get the first life, and pass here, restand at Dawn. So I think I'm in a pretty strong position. Like I said, I have Shanks, I have Tashigi, 2 cards that I said at the beginning of it, I said in this matchup, like, you kind of just, if you can hit these 2 cards on curve, I feel like you're in a pretty decent and favorable position. I would say, like, but that's why I think Bonnie's like slightly worse in this matchup is because I think you do want searchers that tend to stand more often. It was fine in this scenario because if it would have been another Kid Killer, then I just wouldn't be able to play it, but it's just kind of awkward sometimes. You kind of just want the little weenie bodies to sit there and just net you free Tashigi rest and free leaders, free leader restands. So he has never existed since Shalria. I think he decides to play Carlos and then play the Nostro right behind there. So now he's kind of countering my Shanks turn. He's kind of saying, hey, if you want to turn your Shanks, you can, but odds are you're just not killing my Nostro this turn. Which, actually, now that I look at it, yeah, I would never kill the Nostro, because that would just be 7-9 or 7-7 into it. I could make it like 7-8, but then I'll turn all my cards. So here I'm just going to push a 7 and choose not to rest anything. I think it's kind of fine. I can kind of just make sure this Carlos doesn't really get any value throughout the couple turns. by just continue just only swing my leader, and then as soon as he decides to swing with his Nosturo, maybe it'll work. So he decides to pre-play Jupiter, and this is where we, as we were testing, we kind of get into this, we were discussing, and one of the things we were kind of curious about is like, at this point, do you just decide to swing by I still would think poking with I guess in my opinion so far, I think poking with the other two is like kind of fine, but I think maintaining your Noshiro standing as long as you possibly can is just more advantageous on the Emu player side, just because it kind of disvalues me from swinging my Shanks, but especially if you have a Warcry following it, because now I can't like, because even if you left it standing, then like if I rest it, then I still have to play through Warcry event and Carlos, which is going to be really hard through 3 swings. Like I could do it, but I think it would cost a lot of resources. So I'm going to go ahead and just start attacking. And since he already rested his Nosturo, I'm just going to just decide to just swing into the Nosturo a lot. And so I think this is where the I Know You're Strong can come up, because now I'm going to be able to float into a new 5-cost body. I'm just going to freeze the Noshiro because I know he's going to Gorosei turn next turn actually. And so I don't actually need to clear the Noshiro. I just need to make sure the Noshiro can't kill my Shank, can't double shrink. So here I'm going to, again, just ship 2 big swings face, or ship a swing face, probably a 9. And then I have a decent amount of counters, so I could like counter a couple swings, but I do have DMG set up here. So now now that I have DMG in my head, it's like, okay, I just gotta give them 1 life. So this is gonna give me 2 cards. If I take the life, then like I kind of got the job done already, so I actually don't need to swing big anymore. I just need to like poke him again to get another card. I don't want to swing 7. I actually want to keep up 2 down now for my spider web, because I want to be able to like get a free card or get a free restand on whatever he decides to like shrink and trade into, because that would be the best value for him. More than likely it's not going to be Shanks. It'll all probably honestly be like one of the other bodies, and maybe he tries to do that, because at this point I have so many cards that trying to trade into Shanks probably just doesn't do enough, and like you can't 1-for-1 trade the Shanks the whole time. Like if you would have had to starve the other 3 lives and just wait to this point to like try and get that play off. But that's what I'm saying. If he had no Nostro standing, if he just left it standing that last turn, and that's kind of I think what we're talking about. If he had left the Nostro standing last turn, he would have started with he would have been able to start with a Nostro swing. And if he had Gorosei, but it looks like he with Gorosei on this turn, which is like super unfortunate. But he would have been able to like start with Nostro swing on that. So he decides to swing 10 into the Law. I'm just gonna go ahead and just spider whip this card back straight up. And this is just an unfortunate game for him on his end. We kind of talked about it, like if he had Gorosei, like how it would play out, and he probably would have to go face more than likely trying to rush me, and go from there, and then maybe try and trade board. But depending on how much Dawn he used, may have been closer to the same outcomes. And so here, because of the way the game is, I'm just gonna go ahead and just, like I said, just finish the game. DMG, use the leader, restand Dawn, and then my Shanks is gonna be able to swing, turn off the Mars, and then he just shouldn't have enough cards. Just kind of how the game goes. So that is been 2 games versus the Emu deck. Unfortunately, he didn't get to see Gorosei on curve this game, so take that with a grain of salt as you will. We will continue to just test other decks, continue to play the game, continue to just try all the different leaders as we get ready on our road to nationals. We're really looking to try and hopefully at least make top cut, and then try and just get into top cut, and then from there just let it fly, man. Just play my game and just get to where, see how I can do. But thank you for watching the video. Thanks for always continuing to support, and y'all stay safe out here. Get ready for the new year. Peace.